Boss Dr. Lee, carrying a suitcase, walks with his gang of robbers on the street. Swat, Tony, and Rose are on a mission. They hide behind a tree to observe the movements of the boss and his accomplices. Tony takes out his phone and opens an image of the suitcase that Dr. Lee is holding. Rose is about to advance, but Tony stops her. Tony figures out another way to take the suitcase. Tony takes off his SWAT uniform and disguises himself as a civilian.
Rose,
He whispers to Rose about taking the suitcase. Dr. Lee and his gang continue walking. Tony steps out, pretending to be a passerby. Tony walks up and deliberately bumps into Dr. Lee, causing the suitcase to fall to the ground. Tony turns around, pretending to be confused, and apologizes to the boss.
I'm sorry.
Dr. Lee refuses to forgive Tony and orders his thugs to attack him.
Sorry.
Tony and the thugs engage in a fierce fight. Shortly after, two robbers lie on the ground with injuries.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to.
Seeing this, Dr. Lee orders his gang to advance and aims guns at Tony. Tony quickly grabs a gun. Dr. Lee also raises his gun and fires continuously at Tony. Tony quickly hides behind a tree. Tony signals Rose to come out and take the suitcase. He also comes out and shoots to distract Dr. Lee. Rose quickly takes the suitcase and leaves. The robbers can't find the suitcase and inform Dr. Lee. Tony also runs away. Two robbers get up. Dr. Lee and his gang chase after Rose. Rose runs into an abandoned house where Tony is waiting.
Rose, hey, come here.
Dr. Lee and the robbers arrive. Inside the house, Rose and Tony joyfully look at the money. Dr. Lee hears something and cautiously enters the house. They act slowly. Tony sees Dr. Lee approaching and hides the suitcase while observing outside. Tony shoots towards Dr. Lee and the robbers. Dr. Lee and the robbers rush out to shoot back at SWAT. Rose shoots continuously at them. Tony tells Rose to go upstairs, and he follows. Dr. Lee and the robbers also chase after them. Tony tells Rose to continue upstairs while he stays behind to handle them. Tony sees that the boss is catching up and moves into a dark corner. Dr. Lee and his gang split up to search for SWAT. One robber enters the house. Tony takes out a hidden knife. Two Two other robbers enter a room and search around, but find no one. Tony quietly follows behind to finish off the robbers.
Hey, what's going on? I don't know. Okay, let's go.
Tony plans to go out and deal with Dr. Lee, but two robbers approach. He shoots at them. Dr. Lee hears the gunshots and turns back. Tony continues shooting at the robbers. A robber comes out and shoots back at Tony. His accomplice also joins in. Tony grabs another gun and shoots one robber dead.
Oh, no!
The robber shoots wildly at Swat. In an instant, Tony manages to take down the remaining robber. Dr. Lee sees this and slowly approaches. Tony also comes out. Dr. Lee fires continuously at Tony. He quickly runs upstairs, and Dr. Lee follows. Tony reaches the rooftop. Dr. Lee shoots him, injuring him. Dr. Lee walks up to Tony in pain. He laughs triumphantly and asks Tony about the suitcase. Tony replies that he doesn't know. Dr. Lee, enraged, prepares to shoot him dead. Rose runs up to tell the boss about the suitcase.
Where's the suitcase?
No, Rose. Turkey.
Dr. Lee restrains himself from shooting Tony.
Give me a suitcase.
Dr. Lee wants to retrieve the suitcase. Rose hesitates, but throws it to him. Dr. Lee gets the suitcase, but still shoots Rose.
Rose.
Tony quickly goes to Rose and checks on her.
Rose, are you okay?
I don't know.
Dr. Lee happily leaves with the suitcase.
Rose.
Tony asks Rose why she did that.
Very difficult. Just got it.
I don't know.
She smartly took all the money from the suitcase. They rejoice.
Very nice.
Dr. Lee goes downstairs, but finds something strange. He opens a suitcase, but finds nothing inside. Dr. Lee is furious and cries out in pain for being tricked so badly.